now.
All right. Hello, everyone. Today is February 16th, 2023, and welcome to the Cluster API Provider Azure office hours. So we abide by the CNCF Code of Conduct, and make sure to be respectful, raise your hand before talking. And yeah, so today, let's see for any recurring topics. So first of all, do we have anyone new to office hours would like to unmute themselves and introduce themselves?
Yep, I'm definitely new out here. Yeah, I'm new. So I guess I should intro myself, which is going to be interesting for an introvert. But hi, I'm Rudy. I'm essentially a Kubernetes engineer, and these days I'm working with a platform as a service called Porter, where we will like an open source Heroku where we let people have the same experience of pushing their application code and deploying the way it works in Heroku, but on their own clouds, whether it's AWS or Azure or GCP or even on-prem stuff. So we're kind of now we're betting big on Cluster API, and yeah, I've started hacking a lot on Cluster API, AWS, and Azure and GCP. So here I am.
That's super cool. Yeah, welcome. I'm glad to have you here.
Yeah, pleasure's mine.
If there's nobody else, let's give another few seconds in case someone else is here. But yeah, I think that's all for now. So yeah, if you haven't already, please add your name to the attendee list above. If you need edit access, please join the SIG Cluster Lifecycle group. So yeah, now we got two topics in open discussion. So let's start with that. So Dominic, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So it's more like a announcement because we will also be working on as we're currently trying to get a private network configuration for our SIG clusters up and running. We found out that it would help us a lot in enabling the gateway transit for VNet peering. We opened the issue for it, and yeah, we'll also invest some time in working up a pull request for it in the next few hopefully days. And yeah, contribute that part in there. In general, I think we'll have a couple of more findings in the next few weeks, and we'll definitely prioritize getting that also pushed in upstream, so that there might be a bit more work coming in from us.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for making this issue and working on it. And let's see. Cool. Does anyone have any comments regarding? I guess one thing is if you guys are working on it, make sure you assign someone here in case someone thinks it's like an open issue. But I think that's
Sure.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, we wanted to bring it up first in this round. So
okay.
if anybody has any ideas or opinions around it, that we first go into the discussion before we directly dive in and just do it, that would be a bit sucky. But yeah, in general, the basic idea is that it is going around the connectivity to our private workload clusters that we have, and we want to access them over peering with our management cluster. That should help us greatly there. But yeah, go over the ticket, give us some feedback. Hopefully we get a lively discussion in there, or no discussion at all because you all support it, and then we're happy to dive into it.
Yeah, cool. It looks like thanks for all the details in this. We'll definitely take a look in the coming days.
yeah, kudos to Nicola. He's really doing a lot of great work there.
All right, cool. If there are no comments or suggestions for now, we can move on to the next topic. Cool.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
too.
me. Okay, so I just wanted to bring up a quick update for those who haven't been following the PRQ closely. So we are in the process of moving every single reference example template that we have in the repo to use out-of-tree cloud provider. So it's Azure out-of-tree cloud provider. For those who don't know, the context is that originally all the Azure specific code lived inside Kubernetes, the repo. And as Kubernetes evolved and more cloud providers became supported, there's been an effort to basically take out all the cloud specific code out of Kubernetes and essentially remove that tight coupling between Kubernetes itself and its cloud providers that it supports. So cloud provider Azure now has its own sub project of SIG Cloud Provider. And that is the recommended approach for installing Azure Cloud Provider on Kubernetes clusters. And it has been for a while. And we're getting very close to Kubernetes just completely removing in-tree cloud provider code and not supporting that anymore. So in order to make sure we don't run into any issues when that happens, we want to make sure we're pointing people to the right recommended examples and patterns. So we're moving out of all the examples to out of tree, and two, we're moving all our tests to out of tree, except for one specific test, which we'll keep testing in tree just to maintain that coverage until that is no longer a thing. So that will most likely land in V1.8, which means if you're using the example templates following the quick start, starting in 1.8, you'll have an extra step to install cloud provider. There will be instructions. It's fairly straightforward. It's just a Helm install command. And then furthermore, in the future, we're working towards having like the Helm install be part of the template within an add-on provider so that you don't even have to run that extra step manually. So yeah, that's where we're at. There are a bit of back and forth with the cloud provider Helm charts because of specifically the cloud node manager on Windows was having some issues. That is now fixed, so I'm now unblocked and I'm making progress towards end-to-end tests. So just look out for that. And yeah, let me know, reach out if you have any questions.
All right, cool. If there are no comments, we can move on to the next topic with back to you, Cecile.
Thank you. So another status update. So this one I'm not directly working on. I just wanted to bring attention to it. But essentially, I just wrote up a little blurb because we got questions in Slack about what was going on with this Azure Service Operator thing. So this is kind of the current status. So for context, the Azure SDK for Go has a new version. So track 2 is what it's called. And so we are having to migrate from track 1 to track 2 in order to stay up to date and be able to support the latest features, etc. Because track 1 will stop receiving updates very soon. So we're in the process of doing that. However, we're currently exploring a different route, which is instead of migrating to track 2, or in addition to migrating some stuff to track 2, we are considering leveraging Azure Service Operator instead of Azure SDK for Go in order to create, reconcile, delete all Azure resources that CABS needs. For context, Azure Service Operator is a project that essentially auto-generates all the Azure resource configure or specifications into CRDs and allows you to create Azure resources declaratively using Kubernetes native CRDs and controllers. So essentially create like a resource group by doing kubectl apply resource group on your Kubernetes cluster. And so that's really interesting for us, KABZ, because it really aligns well with what we do. And so they use the Azure SDK for Go, but they're already on track 2. And so by migrating to ASO, we would just do like essentially like kill 2 birds with 1 stone, where like one, we get the SDK v2 for free, but also we reduce a lot of our code, because a lot of what we do is essentially duplicate from what ASO does for implementing all the async reconciliation and all of that logic. So we're at the proposal and POC stage. John has been working on that. I don't know if he wants to add anything, but he's really driving that. And then I think the plan is to see if this is feasible, and if so, do like a combination of this and or the SDK in order to get us out of using SDK v1 altogether, because that's the goal.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, Cecile. John, go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick update on the proposal. It is a draft PR for right now because some of it's still just kind of stubbed out. But that's almost done. So when I do finish like a complete draft of the doc, then I'll make sure to flip the PR to ready for review, and then I'll blast out something on Slack just to let people know that this is ready. But I think we're getting fairly close.
Cool. Yeah, it looks like it's coming along really well. Yeah, Brian, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, thanks. Just, thank you for taking a look at this. I think it was a colleague of mine on the Adobe side that we're looking at Cilium as part of our AKS cluster. And so the V2 was a blocking, or is a blocking issue. And along that note, and tell me if we need to take this as a separate item, part of the way we're putting Cilium in is using cluster extensions for AKS. I couldn't find a reference to know how that is supported within KABZ. So if that is like another topic that I should bring up, then I can table this. Otherwise, just looking for some guidance on how cluster extensions may be working in KABZ.
Let's talk a bit about that. Do you want to, sorry, could you expand a bit on what, just to remind everyone the context where you're currently at and what's not working quite well?
Sure. So I have some limited knowledge. So right now we're just creating ARM templates, and these templates are using the Kubernetes configuration extension type, and that's allowing us to pull in a cluster extension. And the isovalent group is providing Cilium Enterprise as this type of extension. And so I think the SDK aspect is somewhat different for just being able to support Cilium, but the method to install Cilium is through the extension. So I think we have 2 different aspects to this. One is just the general support from the library standpoint, and then the other is the actual mechanism within AKS to provision.
Got it. And the extension, is that an AKS extension or an Azure VM extension?
Let me post these 2 links real quick. So the second link is the ARM template that we're using, which would probably be the most direct relation. And then the second is the first is just explanation of cluster extensions. And so if there's work that needs to be done to enable cluster extensions through KABZ, then I'm willing to help write up the ticket, some draft, and try and move in that direction. I couldn't find
oh, yeah, go ahead.
reference in any other issues or any other documentation, so it seems like maybe this is net new territory.
Go ahead, David.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we don't have anything around extensions, only add-ons right now. But the question that I have though is related, because extensions generally what it's doing is just installing like a Helm chart. And I know you all have a pretty robust story around GitOps and installing a bunch of things on clusters. Is there a reason why you think you need the extension versus just doing it via your normal GitOps install mechanism?
Definitely a good question. So the initial implementation with Cilium was a different group, and it was probably the guidance from Isovalent to do it in this regard with the extension. I can definitely take that back and look to see if there's a way to do it through charts.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not saying we want to avoid extensions, but it's just a general concept.
Yeah,
because
given the
yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. I mean, just given the documentation of extensions, it seems like there would be other use cases for this. So it may not be, completely throwaway work, but if there are other methods to unblock us in the short term, definitely we could take a look at that. I'll have to circle back with the team that implemented this through the ARM template and was working with Isovalent.
Cool.
So,
Yeah, I posted in this chat, but I'm guessing there's also an aspect of getting support from AKS since the extension is part of the managed service. I don't know if they would provide the same kind of support if you were to say like install like an open source Helm chart yourself. So that might be something to take into consideration. But yeah, if extensions aren't there and you need them, I don't see any reason for not adding them. I think even if it's not for this, it might be something that we need in the future for something else anyways.
okay, well, yeah, so thanks for confirming. I guess I'll write up an issue and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Cool, so it looks like we are at the end of the open discussion. So I think we have a good amount of time for milestone reviews. So let's move on to that if no one else has any topics, but feel free to raise your hand and chime in. Okay, so let me get to the I'm not entirely sure how to get straight to the milestones. I usually click on it through a
I don't know if it's the best way, but I usually go to issues and then click on the milestones button at the top. But yeah, it's always
it's up here. Okay,
a challenge. Yeah.
Cool. So let's just take a look at what's open right now. Fix if we're authorized IP ranges. Okay, looks like this is just looking for some reviewers. So yeah, it looks like it's ready for review. So if anyone has any time to do that, that'd be awesome. But yeah, let's see. Next, CAPS HDs out of 3, Cloud Controller Manager, and storage drivers. Is this related to the topic that you mentioned earlier, Cecile?
Yep, that's exactly it. So
okay,
you can probably skip over that since I already talked about that.
All right. Next up, we have Azure Go Autorest will soon be unsupported. I thought that this PR already merged where we were moving away from using this library.
We did, but there's a little more to do, so we can't quite close this yet.
All right, gotcha.
The easy mechanical stuff is done. The trickier async stuff is still to do.
Okay, sounds good. All right, next, migrate from the pod identity to Azure workload identity.
So I don't think Ashutosh is here today. He wasn't feeling well. But we're following up on this, trying to get some help from one of the workload identity maintainers, Anish, on Slack about how how to integrate this once with cloud provider once we migrate. That's the current open question.
All right. Next, Azure manage cluster E2E tests. I was a little confused because these are issues, so not sure. Okay, we have a checklist here for E2E tests. Are these all like assigned right now, or are they looking for no? Okay. John, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of these are claimed at the moment. I haven't been doing a ton of end-to-end testing stuff lately. But if anyone wants to pick something up, I'm happy to point at examples or otherwise help if folks want to dig in on this.
Yeah, cool. I think this is great. Just adding more end-to-end test coverage, but yeah, there seems to be quite a few issues left for V1.8. Is this still slated to be completed by the end of the milestone, or should we move it?
I'd say let's keep it in for now.
For now, okay. Cool, where was I? Here. Okay, and then I guess Ashutosh's not here yet, but this looks like it's getting a fair amount of review.
Yeah, that's the PR of the issue we were just talking about.
Oh, just
or the
talking about
proposal PR. Yeah.
workload identity integration. Okay, I guess we can leave this for now. Enable public MEC on CAPZ. Looks like it's on hold right now. All right, Cecile.
Yeah, I can talk about that one a bit. So I don't know if the author is here. I don't think so. But this one was essentially ready for review, except when we ran the end-to-end test that was added, it did not work because it requires special access on the subscription, which our CI subscription does not have, since this is a preview feature. So I think we just put this on hold for now, and I believe the person is working with trying to get our CI subscription added. Although we'd have to think about how this would affect others running end-to-end tests. I mean, this is one of the optional end-to-end tests, so it doesn't run by default, but still, ideally, we want everyone to be able to run every end-to-end test locally without having some sort of special permission. So for now, this PR is on hold.
Okay, so we're just waiting for a response on, yeah, cool. Okay, next up, okay, we just talked about this one, I think, and
It's basically linked with the go auto rest one, so they have the same status. There's
okay.
a little more work to do.
Change metrics server add-on image registry to registry.k8s.io. Okay, so this is like what they talked about in the CAPI meeting, right? So just moving it from like gcr.k8s.gcr.io. Cool. Sorry, Cecile, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, no, you're right on it. So this one specifically for metric server, I believe we should take that out of the milestone though, because Essentially, we're blocked on this because we're using the metric server like artifacts from their release on GitHub directly, and their latest release still doesn't have registry.k8s.io. And they did merge the change in their main branch, but it's not released yet. So we're waiting for them to get a release with that new registry so we can consume it.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I have permissions to move a milestone, so someone else might have to do that.
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, someone's able to just do the milestone next. That'd be awesome. Thanks. Okay, next. The changing VM size / Kubernetes version on a machine pool only refreshes one node in the VMSS. I think this has been worked on for a bit. Not sure if the author's here. But this seems like a pretty significant bug, so we should probably get this in. Where's the PR for this? I thought I saw a PR for this before, but I'm not sure. Actually, yeah, there's no PR link to this.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like anyone is assigned either. Is this just a bug that we put in the milestone saying we should look at this?
Let's see. Yeah, I guess this was added during an office hours, and like I don't think anyone has taken it yet. Oh, okay, so the author said that they won't be working on this issue for now, but planning to get back to it soon. But I'm not sure if that means taking a look at the issue or working on a fix. So yeah, maybe I can ask the author. Or
it still looks like a pretty significant bug if it
Yeah.
recurs. So I think we should definitely take a look, at least triage it in this milestone.
Yeah, let's keep it in this milestone for now. If anyone has cycles to take a look at this, be awesome. Because yeah, this seems like a pretty significant bug.
Just one question, are they using the like autoscaler? Is that related to the other? There's another PR that essentially tries to fix like machine or VMSS using a external autoscaler and the custom data not getting refreshed, or is that different?
Let's see, is it here? Auto.
It's custom data model fix.
This, okay.
Yeah, so I think this
updating.
person essentially took over the other PR from that author. So in the special notes, it says, anyways, we don't have to look at this now. We can take a look afterwards, but yeah, I was just wondering if this is related.
Okay. Oh, that's right. This was the original PR, and then this was taken over. Okay, I remember looking at this. So I'm guessing it is being worked on then. Dominic?
Yeah, that's also one from us from Giant Swarm. Francesco wanted to work on it, but as we announced a bit earlier in another office hour, since we switched to machine deployments for now, we put hold on any work on the machine pools. We'll go to that later on, once we have to be a bit more scalable. But for now, I don't think we have to, like, at least we can't really put a lot of effort into it right now. So it's on hold from our side. But yeah, it's also related to the other story, as you've already discovered.
Oh, okay, that was going to be my question. I was going to say, do you know if it's the same thing as the other PR or if it's something
Yeah.
else?
Yeah, I don't have that much details to it right now, as I wasn't technically involved in there. But yeah, it's definitely related. I think it was one follow-up out of it. But underscored, we basically can't continue working on that right now. So it is even the question if that's something for this current milestone, or if we should put it to another one.
If it is the same issue, then the other PR that we just looked at, that I don't know who that was from, but they essentially re-implemented this we're using the same logic, and that one's very close to merging. Yeah,
Okay.
this one. So I think this one's pretty much waiting for an approve. And if that merges, I was wondering if that fixes that issue or not, or if that's an unrelated fix. So I can ask in the issue.
Cool.
All right, awesome. So it looks pretty good here. Let's just confirm that these are related. So I'll keep it in the milestone for now. Here, okay. Machine pool bootstrap token do not get refreshed automatically when VMS is manually or externally scaled. Looks like there's a PR for this.
Okay, so that one is definitely the issue that PR fixes. So
Oh, okay, yeah, refresh. Okay,
yeah, so that's
that
the
makes
one we were
sense.
just looking at. I don't know if the other one might be different then.
Okay, I'm a little confused because the other PR was like custom data model fix. So I guess maybe, let's see, was it related to the bootstrap token? Okay, I know it is, but let me just like, okay, bootstrap token. Okay, yeah, so this is it. Yeah, I guess let's just wait for a little more clarity on this one. But yeah, let's go forward. Workload identity implementation. I think this has been work in progress for a while, so not sure. I guess we'll keep it in here for now since Ashutosh is not here.
That one is the POC for the proposal for the issue. So all three are in this milestone.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, CAPZ fails to scale in Kubernetes VMS's Flex cluster. I think this is a bug that Matt's been working on for a bit.
This is my albatross issue, but I have a little more clarity after yesterday. I would say I'd have it fixed today, but I've said that for the last couple of days, so I'm still working on it.
Cool. Yeah. Where was I? I'm getting lost. Here. Yes. The Pendabot code gen should be updating hack tools go.mod and go.sum. Is Nawaz here?
I'm here. Yeah.
Cool.
I haven't looked into this, but this doesn't look like a significant bug or something because we don't have a lot of tooling in our hack tool area. So this is not really a blocker. I would say let's keep it in this milestone for now. And if this doesn't get updated, we can push it to the next release. But let's not close it right away.
Cool. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Nawaz. Okay. Moving down the list, agent pools unable to update machine pool state in non-terminal state, resulting in cluster not being ready when running cluster CTL describe cluster command.
Yeah, I've been taking a look at this one. I can repro, and yeah, I just need to dedicate some time to looking for a fix for that. But I don't think it should be too gnarly.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'd say keep it in the milestone.
Cool. Thanks, John. Next up, why am I getting lost all the time? Okay, panic during cluster creation, deletion, if the control plane outbound load balancer is set, but not the node outbound load balancer. Cecile?
I'm pretty sure I fixed that one, and I probably just forgot to link the PR. So I'll
Oh,
try to take a look if it's the same thing I'm thinking, and if so, close it.
oh
yeah,
yeah,
there you
someone
go.
commented. I think
Okay.
this is fixed.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll close it.
All right, sounds good. Okay, switch GPU tests and defaults off MV series SKUs.
This is mine. I'm using it as a placeholder for get started on the research for how do we get quota and all that. And I think I'll definitely be able to get that in the next couple of weeks.
Awesome. Let's see, the current SKU will be retired. Okay.
Cecile, do you want to say something?
Oh yeah, Cecile.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if we should kick that one to the next milestone, given that there's already a lot, and the milestone is we're nearing completion
mean,
of this one.
We can. I'm just anticipating this is going to be a long, protracted back and forth with support and people to get this happening. So I wanted to put it here to remind
Okay.
myself to get started on it. But I
Okay.
don't expect to make much progress in this for this release. Either way, I just don't want to forget about it because August will be here before we know it, and then we're in trouble.
All right.
All right, cool. Okay, this is a tilt cluster flavor command shows this passed even if it failed. And yeah, that's a thing that we've been observing when just spinning up a cluster with tilt. It will display an error, but it will keep running and eventually show as passed, which is really kind of misleading. So I think the we already know like the problem causing this, so it should be a pretty quick issue or fix if anyone's looking to get a an issue fixed. I think Swastik looked like they wanted to work on this, but I'm not sure if there's a PR. So maybe they didn't assign it to themselves, so I'm guessing it's still open. So yeah, if anyone's open to take on this issue, I mean, if no one does, I'll just assign it to myself. But yeah, should be a quick fix. Okay, next up, fix Ginkgo v2 deprecation warnings and EDD test runs. Looks like it's a good first issue. Someone is working on it.
I've been trying to encourage a new contributor. I think they're going to take it on. Hopefully.
It's halfway fixed. Okay, yeah, it seems like they're working on it. Should be good to keep. Whoa, what the? Just refreshed. Oh, I don't know what's going on. It's like refreshing itself. But okay, looks like it stopped doing that. Cannot create a VMSS dual stack cluster. Cecile?
Yeah, that's mine. I was definitely able to repro this, and in fact, I just realized that we never implemented IPv6 for VMSS, so this has never worked. So I'm working on a fix for that.
Cool, awesome, thanks. And this should be good for this milestone?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, ED VMSS flex optional test failing. Oh, this is a duplicate, I think. Matt.
Well, I mean, technically it's fixed because we are skipping the test right now, so we can close this if we want.
Okay, yeah.
Because the other one covers the resurrection of the test and expanding the test to check some other stuff. So yeah, we can just close this. You can do /close. Yeah, I should have referred to this in the PR. Oh well.
No worries. Waiting. I think where's the other? Here. Where we're just waiting on this, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Oh, I got confused because that one is gone now. All right, add documentation for running WASM workloads. I think David was here. Oh, Matt, do you still have your hand up? Okay, cool. Let's see. David Justice, do you have any updates for this?
PR's in, feedback has been incorporated, and I think it's ready for another set of eyes. I think it's pretty close.
Awesome. Yeah, it looks like it's getting close. Thanks. Okay, next add subnet name support to Azure Managed Machine Pool. And this has been under review for a bit. I was taking a look at this. Okay, yeah, there was a suggestion to make it defaulting change, but I don't think it's been implemented yet, and we're just waiting on the author, but I think it's pretty close. So let's keep that. And then next, add support for Bastion tiers. This is my issue. I think right now, okay, there was this big discussion on whether we should default to basic or standard SKU, because I think the Bastion documentation wasn't very clear on what should be defaulted. So the documentation said, and we reached out to the Bastion dev team, and they said that standard should be the default SKU, but if you create a Bastion through the portal, it's a basic, it defaults to basic, but when you create it through the CLI, AZ CLI, it defaults to standard. So I think there's just not really like a set default. So I think we have decided that we should just go with basic because standard is much more expensive, and that's what we defaulted to before. But yeah, if anyone has any comments on like what should actually be the default, I think standard is required for enabling tunneling, but that's like really the only option that's required for standard. Cecile?
Yeah, essentially, I think basic is like a cheaper version, which doesn't support as many features. So the standards, you get more features. You have native client tunneling, which is really nice. That's a key feature of Bastion, but it's more costly. So it's a trade-off. I think just because we were defaulting to basic before, it's fair to keep defaulting to basic so we don't surprise users with costs.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe in the future we can consider changing that. And I think the mutability aspect is really important here, so that we allow people to upgrade to standard after they create the cluster if they realize they were supposed to do that. Yeah, and then I think like I also wanted to mention, like, thanks Willie for reaching out to the Bastion team in Azure and asking for more clarification. And I think they're gonna take our feedback and improve the defaulting pattern in the portal, because it's different from what the documentation says. So that was a good outcome.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks. It was definitely very confusing because you can create it through the portal, like through like the VM page, and it will default to basic. But if you create one and click on like view options, it will default to standard. Like that's just kind of like, I'm not sure, but yeah, I think there's room for improvement there. But yeah, I think also I tried to test, like I removed the validation webhook that prevents bastions, that makes it immutable, just to test it out and try to upgrade this from basic to standard. And it looks like the reconciler did not update it. So maybe there's some kind of limitation here, either on the CabZ side or Bastion, that prevents the Bastion from being mutable. So I'm still looking into like exactly why that's the case, whether it's just a CabZ issue or Bastion. But this PR is mostly, I think it's ready. Just maybe another set of reviews. So yeah, but yeah, we'll be looking into why or why it's not like mutable. Okay, next we have add support and documentation on using Azure CNI with CabZ.
Yep.
Oh, go ahead, Nawaz.
Sorry, I just started speaking with a raising hand. Yeah. Still aiming to get this in within the milestone. Yeah, I haven't shared a lot of updates so there, but I'll keep this in check and keep updating as I make progress.
All right, cool, thanks. We'll keep it in here. And then, okay, last one, add support for cluster class and manage clusters. I think this is the last one. Yeah, okay, so I'm working on this one. A pretty big feature, I think. Oh, first of all, I worked on adding a cluster class tilt template, and then also generating the prow template for cluster class from the bases used to generate that tilt template. So that I should probably add that PR to this milestone. Actually, let me do that. But that is kind of related in terms of cluster class. Oh wait, I can't add stuff to a milestone. So if someone could add this, that'd be awesome. And that one is ready for review as well. So this one, I just started putting together a list of like fields we want to include in the cluster class template that can be shared across multiple clusters. So so there's like two different types we need to make templates of, which is the Azure Managed Cluster and Azure Managed Control Plane. But the Azure Managed Cluster only has like one field that won't be shared, so that's kind of a non-issue. But for the control plane, we have made a list of types that probably shouldn't be shared across cluster class, and we already got some feedback on this. But if anyone else wants to take a look and make sure that this is correct or has any feedback, that'd be awesome. And yeah, I'm still looking to get this in by 1.8. So yeah, I'll be working on this. Okay, cool. I think that's all for milestones. And looks like we're pretty much at the end of our time. If does anyone else have anything they want to bring up? Okay, cool. I think should be good for today. Yeah, thanks again, everyone, for all the input, and we had a lot of great discussion today. So yeah, happy Thursday.
Thank you, Willie.
Billy?
Yeah, thank
Awesome
you.
moderating.
Thank you.
Thanks, Willie.
Thanks, John. Really.
You
Yeah,
guys have a
thanks.
good
See you next week.
Bye.
bye.
How do I